Well, in the year of 1934, in the clay hills and the cotton patches of Georgia was born a little boy, black boy, who was named Zebedee Wright, born out of wedlock to a teenage mother and never left his grandmother home. After that, we came to Florida, Bud's Farm up there by Delray, where we lived. My grandmother picked beans. She was a migrant worker. And I stayed home. I had the great fortune of she let me stay home and didn't have to go in the bean fields to pick like other kids. And she moved to Pahokee, Florida, to the muck. And we lived there for about a year and a half. And we went to New York as a migrant. They used to take them to New York to pick the beans and the fruits up there when the season was over in Florida. And en route to town, I saw these beautiful homes with white picket fences, and I saw black folks going in and out the front door, because black people didn't go in and out the front door of beautiful homes like that back in those days. So I asked the young lady, "Do those black people live there?" And she told me, yes. And I asked her, "How do you get to live in a big house with a white picket fence like that as a black person?" And she told me, education. So when we got back to Pahokee that year, I told my grandmother I want to get me some of that education so that I could have me a big white house someday with a white picket fence. And I went to school at Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale, and I got promoted from 6th grade to 8th grade, and that's when I caught up with my grade. And I finished. I got a Lewis State scholarship. The Lewis State Bank in Tallahassee used to give scholarship for the preparation of teachers to the kid making the highest grade on the test that they used to come around and give. So that's how I got to college. I went off to law school. 2 years later, I had finished law school and came back, became a lawyer, practiced law for about 11 years, and Governor Graham appointed me to the bench, where I served until I retired. I was the first to graduate from FSU Law School. I was a person that they call militant. That's what they used to say back in those days, because I always spoke my mind and challenged the system. I was on the criminal bench first. I changed the procedure for plea deals. You couldn't do it secretly any longer. You had to put it on the record as to what the deal is. I was one of the noted criminal lawyers in the Southeast region. I remember when I was a kid, I used to come to the bowling alley to set pins, and the little white boys would wait on us down at the track to rock us all the way back across the track. So we have a rock fight each night. We live a bit more harmoniously together, and the people who are haters, they kind of hide it more. And we get an opportunity to proceed in whatever our chosen profession is, better. Although you have resistors. Like when I was a judge, I had to kind of make some people recognize who was the judge in the courtroom. They come in and think they could run over me, I guess, because I was a black fellow on the bench. I said, some of us who have made it must give back to try to help those who haven't. So as a result, I formed a basketball association of a team called the Florida Roadrunners. And I was very successful with that project. I ran many kids through that project, taking them all over the United States of America. And we become known all over America because we were one of the ranked teams in the AAU. Yeah. And so I have a lot of kids that I have. They went to college. I even had some in the pros. I wound up with a big house. I didn't put up a white picket fence. In fact, I wound up with 3 houses, but I never put up the white picket fence at either one. No, but I was satisfied with those. To me, a person of justice, and what I mean by that, fairness and equality to all. To the people who came before me, to them, it would be that I really saved their life. I looked out for them. I showed them the way.